Hey y'all, I'm back. I got more to say. I'm excited. My name is Matthew Richardson, and here is the mistake, another mistake I've made, I should say. Chronic lying that has continued into a white lie. So this started back in high school of being something that I did to protect myself in a way from getting in trouble, and what would start as a lie would need more white lies to be able to sustain the original lie. And I think what's the hard part about that is there's no white lie. It's black or white. It's crystal clear. It's a lie is a lie. And so I think the hard part is that I began to get away with lies that began to shape things in my character that weren't true to who I was. And so that speaks into from sports to schoolwork to assignments to friendships to my relationship with my parents and just building things there. These lies continue to be sustained in different ways. And I remember getting caught in one of them that it was something that it's hard to explain, because as you're going through it, the story doesn't even begin to make sense anymore. When you begin to look at the lies and the lies that are built on the lie, the original lie, it doesn't begin to add up. It doesn't begin to make sense. It begins to get muddy and foggy. And I remember my friend going hey, you can just tell me like it is, keep it straight, keep it 100. You don't have to sugarcoat it for me. I remember that moment, but I also remember a moment in a job shaping and defining me, realizing that this was shaping my character into something that I didn't want it to be. I didn't want to be known for being the guy who was flaky or not consistent or not honest. And I also didn't want it to shape me, not just for a presence of who I am, but shape me into being someone who I'm not, and let that trickle into my relationships and my family and be a generational thing. And so I remember the time that I began to lie in a job about being late. And again, this seems so simple and silly, but being late about this and that and traffic and this and coming up with something. I remember stopping myself and just looking at my boss and saying, nah, I overslept, that was a lie, and owning it. And I remember the face of my boss, it was actually when I worked at Party City, and she looks at me and goes, why don't you just tell me like it is? We're all adults here. We all make mistakes. And actually, honestly, by you owning it, it shows that you're human. And what I think is cool about that is I think it's so easy to get caught up in having to be perfect, having to have it all together, having to have the right response or answer or thing, or disappointing people. And so we lie to cover it up. And I remember that moment kind of shaping my heart and realizing that I don't want to shape someone's heart, demeanor, perspective, and not just of me, but of themselves and people in general by my humanness, because I'm choosing to cover that up. I remember walking from that point, and yes, to this day, there's still moments where I begin to think ooh, I could just say that, or I could say this, or I'm running late to something. I'm I'm 10 minutes away when I'm really 30 minutes away, or on the way to go meet somebody, but I just left the house. All of those things I think are smaller lies, but they build up ultimately into larger lies being something problematic. I think the biggest thing that I've seen working with Next Gen and relationships is lies about relationships and cheating and addictions and struggles and pain. And we're all human. We all face struggles and pain and addictions, but the idea of being real, honest, and vulnerable, and in that seeing the transparency of what it looks like for us to be human, and in that humanness, give each other grace, give each other love, give each other truth, but walking with people and calling each other up to the best versions of ourselves. And so, yeah, I think steps to that would be finding what it is that you're lying about and why, and kind of pinpointing the heart behind it, and really beginning to be honest with yourself, but also being honest with those who are closest around you. Because I think it's so easy to push away those around us when we're designed and wired to be in community and bring people closer around us. My name is Matt. Thank you for listening to my story on No Gray Areas.